So the other question is, how do you separate, how can you differentiate art from film and video, or artist film and video from cinema at large? And I have an equally complicated answer to this question, you'll be happy to know. But I think that with the people that I work with at the BFI, they have a lot of them have kind of devoted their entire professional careers to working with curating, presenting cinema, and they have this idea of cinema as a form unto itself, which is different from other kinds of film and video, artist film and video included. And I think that is, I think that that's interesting, because one of the things that's associated with the idea that there is such a thing as cinema is that cinema has a language, and there's a system of codes which people can sort of speak and understand, which have to do with the way that shots are edited together. And that actually this whole system of codes is sort of more important than any individual image that you find in cinema. It actually, there may be an image of King Kong that stands out on screen as something that sticks in your mind, but what's really important about the way that King Kong as a film is interpreted is the way that that image sits within and amongst other images. So the structure, the language of cinema, is more important than any individual element. And that structure is sometimes narrative and it's sometimes not narrative, but the important thing is that there is this structure. And that's a very 60s idea, and there's other people that might say differently to it, but I think that it's a really enduring idea within discourse around cinema. There are other people that say, actually, all cinema is an expression of something pre-linguistic. We don't have to go down that road. But art, on the other hand, has embraced the idea, I think, that there is no language of art. And I'm not sure if that's necessarily true either, but artists and curators often make statements like, art expresses that which cannot be put into language, or art expresses something that is pre-linguistic. And art is something that stands outside of any set system of codes, but actually exists to question those systems. Which I think, again, may not be completely true, but certainly has some staying power, because you do sort of pick up on that idea again and again. Throughout, certainly, art beginning with the Dadaists, whose open acts of rebellion against language were kind of an explicit attempt to recuperate language from the regimes that had started World War I, and going on through people like Robert Barry in the 60s, who made a piece called Telepathic Piece. I forgot it right here, actually. I really love this, because this is when people were rebelling against the idea of art as an object. Well, in his Telepathic Piece from 1969, Robert Barry simply made the statement that this was part of the exhibition, May 19th to June 19th, 1969. During the exhibition, I will try to communicate telepathically a work of art, the nature of which is a series of thoughts that are not applicable to language or image. So, this desire to get outside of language is really inherent in art. And to come down to a more simple, straightforward level, I think that you could say that a lot of artist film and video is characterized by a resistance to narrative structure and other forms of structure in cinema, you could say, or a questioning of those, or inversion of them. And most forms of cinema kind of sit within that structure and exist to further that structure. To start my kind of exposition of the McCoy's work, I want to start with a piece which dealt directly with language as a medium. And this was a piece they made in 1999 called Air World. They brokered a partnership with the Double Click Network, who were putting banner ads into people's websites as a way to make money during the dot-com boom. And Double Click offered them to use their network to place 1 million banner ads that were created by Jennifer and Kevin McCoy for a fake company that they called Air World. These were placed in 1 million websites, and the sites that hosted them didn't know that they were hosting an art project. So then the McCoys created, so these were all sort of like really generic business slogans, looking at the language of business in a generic way without sort of specifically selling any actual product. And once these banner ads were placed in these 1 million sites, it happened during August 1999, over a period of 1 month, McCoy sent out a software pod which visited all the sites where their banner ads were placed, and it harvested all of the language that was used on those sites. It put that language into a database, and then they created a project called Jargon Machine, which created language from the language of the sites that they harvested. So it was sort of this this linguistic snapshot of the language that people were using on these American.com websites at that particular time. It's kind of like this exposition of marketing speak, a piece of internet archaeology. And it was the critique of this kind of style of expressing yourself that had arisen at that particular point.